like to call to order the Tuesday, October 1st, 2024 school committee to order at 7 p.m. Could I please have a roll call?
Ms. Pezza?
Here.
Ms. Joyce?
Here.
Mr. Mara?
Here.
Mr. Dupuy?
Here.
Ms. Keeling? Ms. Henry? Ms. Cook?
Here.
Ms. Ferreira? Mr. Rizzo?
Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Student and staff recognition. Beth, thank you for doing this. Best part of the night.
Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we celebrate, honor, and congratulate excellence in teaching. It is my honor to introduce to you our 2024 Teacher of the Year, Mallory Kane. Mal is a teacher in our ag program, as well as being the CTE program facilitator for our agriculture program. Mal began her teaching career right here at Pontiac, where she taught one animal science class. Now Mal teaches multiple classes, which are immensely popular with our students. Besides teaching, Mal volunteers countless hours preparing our students for FFA competitions, state competitions, Foster Old Home Days, and the Washington County Fair, while always earning numerous awards along the way. Mal is a problem solver, innovator, and committed team member of the Pontiac family. Her enthusiasm, love, and passion for education are nothing short of remarkable. Mal, congratulations. We are so grateful for you. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2024 Teacher of the Year, Mallory Kane.
Congrats.
Now, before you leave, can I also add just one component to it? I think it's important to recognize that the initial nomination came from a colleague who Mal works very closely with, who has mentored herself, Mr. Rotundo. But then the district committee, hands down, chose Mal as our district teacher of the year. She is the first CTE teacher to be district teacher of the year. She is recognized throughout the state. She is leading curriculum throughout the state. She sits on the state panel, the advisory board for her program, has assisted in writing the standards by which we're assessed. And I'm just really proud of the program. When I came here, it was a newer program, and you've literally built it, grown it, pun intended, to what it is today. So I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are welcome to stay for the rest of the agenda, but certainly do not feel free to leave, Mal. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Bye, congrats.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for everything that you do. Okay, approval of minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the Capital Project Subcommittee meeting on September 3rd, 2024.
Second. Any discussion?
Can I just make a note that there's a new capital projects minutes because I had one name in that wasn't supposed to be there, so I took it out. So you'll see that you have gotten a new draft, a new
You want me to
minute.
do a new
Make the motion as to include the amended minutes, Greg?
I'll
remove my second.
I'm going to remove my motion. I make a motion to approve the amended minutes from the September 3rd Capital Project Subcommittee meeting as presented.
Second. No, Greg, can I ask you a question, please? I'm not part of the capital projects. Can I approve them? Because you really can't, because it's only a subcommittee of the committee, so we're not going to have a majority of the people.
president for me, technically you don't really need to approve the minutes.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't think we've really.
I don't think we ever had it before, I don't think.
so do we need to approve these this evening? What do you recommend?
It's up to you, so whatever practice you want to, but I don't think you need to approve it.
I don't know if we'll ever have a majority for it
Yeah, you
to
will.
approve.
Possibly from now on, if we have any subcommittees, I could just put for informational purposes only. And we won't do a motion at all. I'll just put them in so you have them and you can see what we discussed.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, so I remove my second.
Remove my motions.
Thank you, Aaron.
So I will make a motion, though, to approve the minutes of the open meeting on September 3rd, 2024. That's the full school committee meeting.
Second. Thank you, Aaron. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the executive session meeting on September 3rd, 2024.
Second.
Thanks, Mark. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the open meeting on September 10th, 2024.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the executive session meeting on September 10th, 2024.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. Approval of monthly bills.
I make a motion to approve the monthly bills dated September 1st, 2024 to September 30th, 2024 in the amount of $1,173,365.92.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Finance update. Thank you, Ann.
We're at 19.63% collected for revenue, expenses were at 12.43%.
And you mind speaking up? Yeah.
I always forget.
I know.
We'll be sending out our tuition bills in October. We're preparing those now. And the auditors have been on site. They started yesterday, so they'll be here 3 days this week. I believe 3 days next week. And then the other thing that we are working on is we started the budget process. So we'll be working on that.
Lots of fun. May I please ask you a question?
Yep.
Renee, is this the year that we started the new auditing company? Are
Yes.
you happy with them so far?
Yes. Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're very good to
I
work with
appreciate
so
that.
far. So.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
I was gonna say, I don't know if we acknowledged this in the past, but I like how you put about half of the cell tower funds in an interest-bearing account, which I know we talked about, so that was good.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
So we
so-
are with interest rates too. I mean, now it makes sense. Before they weren't really anything, but
Yeah.
we are. It's good to
Thank
earn
you.
interest on that. So.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the report and the
Yep,
update.
you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Superintendent's report. Dr. Palazzo, would you like to share anything first?
Yes, so you have the appointments. We have a special, I mean, I don't know if you have any questions on any of them, but most of them are replacing people who have retired, resigned. They are standing positions. None of them are new positions. In addition to, well, there is one leave of absence that is just that you would need to approve for teacher to start in February 3rd.
Can I ask you a question on
Yeah.
that, if you don't mind? It said that it's tentative February 3rd, and then the goal, I think, is to start, to return. The return is to start next year, like in August?
She's pregnant.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah.
So it says February, so can we extend it now, so that way we can get a sub to cover that time? Doesn't it say until?
Till August.
Till August, but I thought it said, and then it says February, February 3rd.
Starts the 3rd.
Okay, I thought it was until February 3rd. I'm like,
Oh, no.
Okay, that's, yes, okay.
She's due
Sorry,
February 3rd. That's
I
okay.
misread it when I read it. Thank you, I appreciate.
Yeah.
Give me a hint with the stupid stick, Cindy. I need it sometimes.
And then
Thank
the
you.
other part that I've added, did you have a question for me?
I actually did it about the appointments. Do you know if these were, obviously they're only 1 year, but are they, I thought we asked, or it could have been another meeting, about are these what step teachers are we replacing? Are they coming in as a step 3, a step 2?
They are all step 10 teachers who are out. And the 1 year positions, is that what you're asking me, or all of them?
Correct.
Okay, the one-year positions are not step 10, they are much lower, the two one-year positions.
Okay.
I want to say like a 4 and a 2. The other one, the third one down, is a step 10. And the other ones, the secretaries are part of the ESP contract. and
Right.
They all come in at step 4, which is the highest step based on experience.
Okay.
But replacing that.
Okay, because I thought previously, I don't know if it was here, but I thought we asked to have, the steps or whatever added to the, like, if they're replacing like a step 10 teacher or they're coming in as a step 4. I thought we asked, but
Yeah.
We did, it was just, probably just oversight. Thank you,
but
Aaron, for
if
that.
we can maybe do that, maybe going forward, just so we know about like, okay, we're losing a step 10 teacher for the retiree, but we're coming in as a step 2 or step 3, so we kind of know
Save
that
money.
saving.
Or if we're losing a step 6 and replacing it with a step 8.
Correct.
So we need to find that,
So
fill that hole.
clarification, you're asking for the position that is available, what step that was, and the person who's hired, what step they are.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely do that.
Thank you, Renee.
Thank you, Aaron,
And
I
then
appreciate you bringing that to
we
our
also added after our July meeting, just regular school updates. If you remember last month, I gave you a presentation, so I just wanted to add a few more updates to it, and then we can talk about the format. But as I shared with you in September, we're piloting social studies at the middle school and math grades 6 through algebra 2. We've already had 2 PD sessions in person, August 19th and September 30th for math. Social studies was July 31st and this coming Monday, the 7th, in person. We are participating for science in the NGSA, which is the Next Generation Science Standards, through interim assessments through RIDE, which will better prepare us for the assessment that comes in the spring. I shared with you our vision of a student and vision of a graduate work that's tied to some of our NEAS work, but it's definitely district-wide for middle school and high school. And we're working on what that would look like to report out to families. More will come. Dave has worked really hard to get that into Aspen, so I'm hopeful that that will be what we need it to be. RICAS scores for the middle school are set to be released in the next week or so. We started a CTE program inventory, which is a lot of work on our CTE facilitators. I just wanted you to be aware of that. It's not inventory of physical inventory. It's really work-based learning, credentials, our courses, how many students are in there. Our partnership team meetings are up and running, and if you're interested in participating or knowing more about those dates, I can certainly share them with you. Karen is working with the facilitators to get those scheduled. And really exciting news, Woody Spring is in town and is set to visit Pontiac High School on October 11th in the auditorium. He's going to meet with our students. So when I have more concrete information, if you're available, you're welcome to attend. I will certainly share it with you, but yeah, pretty exciting. So that's the update.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for us before we do the motion about what Dr. Palazzo presented? Okay, can I please have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the leave without pay as presented in the packet.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Yes, some of it is. It was in the, that's what threw me off, Beth, I gotta be honest with you. When I read when the breakdown from, right behind it, it said she was approved on September 5th. And so I misunderstood that and I thought approved, like she started her leave on September 5th, so. No, I'm stupid, so. So do we have to say no, because we don't have to approve the one with pay. We're only approving the one without pay, because the FMLA is only for so many weeks, 6 weeks? Right, so.
Beth, your mic.
Do we have to do leaves with pay too, Greg? I thought that's out of our hands. We don't do.
Right. Right. What you said previously, Shelley, was correct, which is you're approving the unpaid, uncovered leave. Technically, if she runs out of leave, FMLA, or leave time, she's on leave without pay status, by the contract, you have to approve that. So that's why you're just approving the unpaid part.
I'm sorry, so they're allowed 13 weeks, Beth, so we're just approving the remainder for her to return. But thank you, no, I appreciate you questioning that. Any other questions? All right, we did the motion, right, Kyle?
Yes.
Okay, Perfect, thank you. School updates. Superintendent evaluation tool, we all had that in our packets. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions about the evaluation tool?
Actually, I think, how do I say this? When it comes to this evaluation tool, I think that it's very bland, that it's not, I don't think it encompasses the entire district. Like, it's mostly, if given the opportunity and continuing support in order to work with Renee in order to build a correct or something tailored directly to our district when it comes to, because again, like, for it keeps the school committee informed on issues. I was doing some research previously, in other states like New York and others actually tie it in and have an entire like board of education with certain criteria, certain aspects, and I wanted to take that and add it into an evaluation tool. Something like some of the questions could be, give me 1 minute, if you want to come back to me.
Can I jump in before we
Absolutely,
begin?
Erin, so while you look
So,
that up, yeah.
there are two in here. One I think is the one that was shared by previous legal counsel, but then there's also another one. If you look at the bottom, it starts like it has a number, page 13. It came from the RIDE model, Rhode Island Department of Education. It's what the building administrators are evaluated against or with. It has a professional practice, which is instructional leadership and site management, and the second page is professional responsibilities. I think that if you work towards developing a tool, which I did ask other superintendents around the state, there isn't anyone who I asked that has an evaluation tool. So this is a unique, and RIDE doesn't offer one. However, if you're going to evaluate me, I would ask that it be in line with the work that I'm doing daily, and it would be a vertical alignment. There are some common elements that the teachers are evaluated on and the building administrators are evaluated on, so it makes sense if you want a true vertical alignment, which is what we have for our strategic plan and school improvement plans, then I would ask that there be a lot of commonalities between that, because that's the work I'm doing, that I'm expected to do as a superintendent.
So,
So you're
makes sense.
for this one.
I think the one that looks on page 13 or 15, a blend of it is, I mean, that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm evaluating them against, and that's the work that you charged me.
and also, I finally found it. It's from the, it's called the it's the New York State School Boards Association Superintendent Evaluation. Like, it's a full-on PDF and everything else. And of course, my phone decided, there it is. Sorry, gotta love technology.
I'm impressed that you even got it, because I have no service in here.
But like, it gives like an entire thing, like standard 1, vision, culture, instructional leadership. Then it gives professional practice. It has like 1.1, leadership actions, staffing, and resources are clearly aligned to a student achievement focused vision, and that vision is evident in the school culture. Then you can do highly effective, developing, ineffective. There's demonstrate a deep understanding of quality instruction and consistently promotes effective instructional programs and high expectations for student learning outcomes. Like, there's certain things that we can add to something from RIDE itself, other than just going with a blanket evaluation tool like we currently have in the packet.
Well, yeah, so I think,
If you look at the second tool, it's more of what you're saying.
Correct.
Yes.
But I would just like to continue to work with,
can you
And
get
tr-
something done so we can have it for the next meeting in November?
yeah, that
Are
should
we
be
gonna have a
fine.
meeting in November? Well, we're still gonna have one, right? Oh, okay, so, do you think you could work on one and morph it together and send it to Kyle?
Yeah, that
For
should,
us to work on it, then we'll have the two to work with? So how's the committee feel about that?
I would just suggest that, I mean, I like this tool. To the points that Aaron just said, they're here, but I would just say if you're going to like make adjustments on what you think, like what you're going to suggest, that maybe it not be like too in-depth, like pages and pages and pages. Like, maybe we keep it succinct to 2 to 3 pages, similar to what we do for the other admin. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with what Mark's saying there. Usually those evaluation tools are most effective if it's sort of a starting point for conversation and a jumping off point. And certainly we should just get something going as opposed to just trying to perfect it right out of the gate, you know?
Beth?
Plus, I think whatever we're going to evaluate our superintendent on, we must have knowledge of. And if there's lots of stuff in there, how would I know, you know, if she did this? So I think it has to, you know, when it comes to the budget, yeah, I'm on the budget subcommittee. I know what work she put in, you know, but there's other things in here that there is no way we as a committee could evaluate Renee on. So I'm not comfortable with a lot of things in there.
Can I, Renee, before you jump in, can I have Eileen speak? Oh, I know. Eileen, I'm sorry, yes.
No, that's okay. No, I just had a question regarding on page 7. It says the responsibility annual goals. So,
7 of 7, Eileen? Is that the one you're on? No.
it was the first part of item number 9, page 7.
She's on the first tool.
Oh, I think we're leaning towards the second tool.
Okay.
Eileen, does that
but-
matter?
Well, I just didn't know overall. It just had, if we're evaluating her, and it says expectations, and it says goals that you're going to set. If we're like, should we know the goals to see if we're meeting our goals, or I'm not really sure how. Like, how is it evaluated if we don't know what the goals are? Like, I just didn't know. Do we set goals? So I'm just asking.
So Brendan, go ahead, please.
I mean, I can speak a little bit to how we handle it where I work. My staff members set their goals at the beginning of the year, and then we kind of check in on them periodically. First when they set them, and we say, okay, we're in agreement that those are pretty good goals to tackle. Then we check in on them as the year goes on. At the end of the year, they're evaluated first by themselves as to how they feel they performed against those goals, and then by those who oversee them to see if there's agreement there, and that's used to determine if it was successful or not. So I think year one, we'd look for the superintendent to set the goals as she sees them, and then we evaluate what she set for goals and add to them, take away from them. You know, you want, if anyone hits all of their goals, they probably didn't set their goals high enough, is one thing I would add. So you shouldn't necessarily be measured for a 100% success rate, right? That means you didn't really set the bar high enough for yourself. But that's usually what I've seen done, for what it's worth.
So I think what Eileen's saying is, who set the goals? We don't know the goals, so how do we, is that what you're saying, Eileen? Okay. I just wanted to make sure. So, now, is the goal based on the school comprehensive plan? Because don't we have a comprehensive plan for the school? Like, we set goals early on, so is she measured by the goals that the school committee set? Like, do you know, like, the goals? I don't know. It's a legitimate question. I'm just asking.
I have to be honest here. I'm going into my 3rd year, and I don't want the target to move. I think that's a realistic ask of me. If I know what goals we set for administrators, I know what goals I expect to achieve this year, but I don't want arbitrary goals or unknown goals. If you're going to evaluate me, I'm comfortable with that. I think just as we do with the administrators, the evaluation is done at the end of the year because there are regular feedback and reflections. So this tool is, you see, it's a holistic scoring tool. It has more detail to it. I think maybe what I heard earlier is that we need to develop a tool. I don't know. I lean on other superintendents and no one could offer me anything. So it is uncharted territory. We can chart it together, but I just don't want the goals or the targets to move.
I think we're trying to make this bigger than it needs to be. I think it needs to just be like what you said, we touch base with her. I don't think we need an elaborate tool. There's no concerns. The 2 chairs have not received any concerns regarding our superintendent.
Absolutely not.
So I don't think we need this to be a huge production. I think it needs to be something that's very concise. Look, like you did when you met with her. We meet with her. Are we doing these things? Yep, great. We check it off, and we move on.
I think it's great, and then we can talk to her then and have a conversation. What are your goals, Renee? What do you see in a year? Like,
I think it's more
I think
conversation.
it's a conversation. I think that's so important, even for the school committee, because we're always saying, and I'm sorry if I interrupted you.
No, that's.
And I think it's important for us to say, all right, yeah, we're great, we're happy. We can kind of share if there are things that we like to see differently, but I think it's important for us to have a conversation in executive session about her goals, what we see, and then we can, like Renee said, visit it back in a year and say, all right, how do you feel about how everything went? And
Yeah, I think it should be more
conversation.
I don't think we need to make it this big elaborate tool.
But I think it should include what can we do to support her goals.
Right.
Like,
On the notes.
because she might be working on something, I have no idea she's working on it, but there's something we can do as a committee
Which
to
is
make
why
that
that
easier.
conversation's important. She can say, this is what I'm working towards. Oh, well, all right, well, you need us to approve this, you need us to move forward with this.
How about if we do this?
If
Like-
we have a conversation, that's where those things will be addressed.
Okay.
So we as a committee can support our superintendent and whatever her needs are. And she can get our feedback that we're supporting, you know what I mean?
I don't want a big,
No.
drawn out,
Plus, there's so much in here that we can't evaluate. That
I agree. There's so much that we have no knowledge on. Is there a simple one?
even if we just use something like the second one as a guide for our meeting.
100%. So we need. We're not,
Even if we just use something like this one, all right, 1A, tell us about your goals, revision, yep. And you do that every month anyway when we meet. You're always giving us updates and where we're going and what your hopes are. You know what I mean? Like, we can probably check off.
Right, so if you're comfortable, and I'm not trying to drive it, but I think in some ways I should drive it because I know what I do, and then you can say if you feel like this is a good way for us to communicate. What I'd like to do is maybe I can, and Aaron and I started this conversation, we can certainly meet, or I can just, it's up to you what to do. But let me take some of the specific language that I think would be, like the bigger parts of it, school-based district initiatives and activities. You know, what the PD looks like. I mean, acts ethically and with integrity, right? So some of those I can take and then draft, and you can tell me, because there's a lot more that comes with this and what the scoring criteria looks like. There's a 4-point rubric for each one of these bullets, so.
Well, I mean, the last thing that you need to be doing is developing your own evaluation tool. I mean, is this where we really want her
It's more
spending her
work.
time on? To everyone else's point, like, if this is the guide and if Aaron feels like at the next meeting he wants to suggest like some edits, like that's completely fine, but I don't think like a task for you would be to make your own judgment tool. You know, that just doesn't make sense. I wouldn't do that at work.
I would just say that the scoring piece, you probably want to lower the emphasis on that. It's not like
We
you're
don't
not
need
getting
a
graded.
score.
Yeah, it's
We
more.
want a conversation.
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion? Can we just use this rubric, not rubric, this template, and just have a conversation, and go down it, like Cindy was just saying, and just have a conversation?
Or if you don't like this one, that's where you can say with Aaron, and Aaron can type it up. You can task Aaron with it. I like this one, I don't like this one. Put it on.
Yep, put it
you
on me.
Guide him, let him do the work behind it.
Correct.
And then it will be more of a guide to guide our conversation. So that when we meet annually, twice a year, every other year, I don't think we even have to meet every year, but
Every 3 winter contract.
yeah, whatever.
And then what I can do is I can update my superintendent's report to reflect one of these so that you get regular updates if you'd like it to be that way. So Aaron, let's connect and we can try to put something together for the
Perfect.
next meeting.
Just very
And
vague.
again, just like a.
Copy that.
This.
Thank you. Do you have time for
Just
that?
a
Yeah.
list of this, like whatever you want us to talk about.
Just very simple, like, I agree, like, very simple. We just want to have a conversation.
Perfect.
Thank you. I think it's a great idea, Renee, so you can add that, one of those, you can touch on one of those goals.
Then we've covered it, and we don't even have to wait for a
We're
meeting.
already, exactly, we're update on it. Update. Beautiful. School committee meeting date change.
So this one, we realized that our school committee meeting was November 5th, which is Election Day. So we needed to move our November meeting. We're changing it the week before, which October has seems like 5 Tuesdays in it, right? So it makes sense, we put it on October 29th. Not that this impacts this committee as a whole, but just for informational purposes, the Gloucester School Committee agreed to move their meetings to the same night as the region. So there would be a time change as well. So Gloucester would go before, and then the regional meeting would come after. So if you look at what's proposed in here, item 10, this meeting will move from November 5th to October 29th. So it seems like we wouldn't have a meeting in November, but that's because we're doing it earlier in October, and then we'll move to the December meeting. And we do a lot of budget prep work in November anyway, so we would have subcommittee meetings.
So Gloucester's meeting,
Oh, ours stays the same. You're right, regional stays the same at 7.
From November.
Oh, Cindy, you weren't at the last meeting.
we'll redo.
Yeah.
We're going to meet before the region.
Is it, Renee, is it still 7 PM? Will it be? Oh, okay, that's what, we said a time change, I didn't know what you meant, I apologize, I'm like, what time are we starting then?
Yeah, and then, so we have it just, not to change, and then you redo the calendar in December for January anyway, so if we needed to make adjustments, we could make it then. But our next two meetings,
Do we do the
October
calendar in
29th.
December? I thought we did it in January.
We
with the
should,
new
January.
committee.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
So the meeting is going to be October 29th at 7 PM. For the November meeting is October 29th. Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay.
I just have one question. Again, Ann, I'm sorry to be such a pain. This won't affect any of the bills for November, correct? Or are we going to or do you know what I mean? Like for the bills that might be paid out on that 30th or 31st, are we able to
Yeah, I mean, we can run it right before the meeting, and then we could include the dates that we missed in the next meeting.
Okay,
if you
I just wanted
wanna
to
do it
make sure.
that
I just
way.
want to make sure that we're not going to mess something up, accounting.
Yeah, no, we can run the report any date, so we'll just make sure we capture those in the meeting.
Okay,
After
perfect.
that one. I'll make a note.
Aaron, any other discussion? Do we need to vote on that, Greg, or are we good? No, we're good? Okay, perfect. Approval of annual virtual instruction day plan.
Sorry.
I make a motion to approve the annual virtual instruction day plan as presented in the packet.
Second, and then Renee, would you like to add something?
No, if you have questions.
Because it was very detailed in the packet, thank you for that. Does anybody have any questions they would like to ask Dr. Palazzo? All right, no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Approval of cell tower funds. We have two in our packet. And thank you for the backup information. I appreciate that, of how much is in there, the balance, everything else, thank you.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the cell tower fund's request of $3,000 for overnight field trip for PHS music students to offset the cost of their trip.
Second? Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the cell tower fund's request of $7,823 for the Great East Music Festival field trip PMS students to offset the cost of buses.
Second? All right, discussion.
I thought we weren't going that high.
That's, I wanted to say the same thing, Beth, took the words right out of my mouth.
But I think it has to
Thank
do
you.
with the number of students.
I know, okay, but Beth, you speak, go ahead. What would you like?
What, I need clarification on our policy, but I believe that we weren't this
Well-
new school year going to go.
As a committee,
Sure.
we can make a motion to approve whatever dollar amount you want. My problem is, if we approve this big dollar amount, we are more than half over the total that we take in for the year. So we're gonna give them more than double than what we're giving the high school music trip.
students does this?
So if we approve this of 78, then that's 10, and then we've already, and that's 10,800, and then the other two, we only take in 21,000 a year. If we approve these two at that total amount, we're at 15,000 that we've already given out for October.
Okay, before anybody looks at the,
So this request came in, it is for the second half of the year, though, if you look. They just, if it's approved, they need to book it now. That's why they're asking for it now. But
Also-
it's for January to August.
Have they raised
how many students is this?
tons of money?
So this is
I
the
don't
middle
think
school
they
group.
do
about
fundraisers. I
100
think they
students.
ask the families.
This is
It's supposed to have
this
matching
is-
funds, though.
This is for over 100 kids.
Yeah, that's the high school.
No, but see, the problem with the middle school music program is they have no money. They don't do fundraising where the high school does. Like everybody was instructed that before you come, you do fundraising and you have the matching funds, but they don't.
But the total
Not
cost
that
is
I know of, but they
15,000
ask
and they're
the
asking.
families to donate.
They're paying 650, but they didn't fundraise anything, so just because
Well,
they're
who's paying
out
the
of-
No,
other-
the 650 is the high school. The high school trip is 650 times 100 students is the $65,000.
The high school one is over that.
Right.
Yeah. But to Beth's point, why is there no fundraising happening? Have they?
I would just add that they do fundraise a little bit, but I think it's just a different
They ask-
population that they're working with. They try.
I
And are the
believe
students-
they ask parents for, which is not car washes and
I know they charge admission to the concerts for chorus and band. Beyond that, I'm not sure.
And for this trip, is it like the high school where the families are suggested to donate for their own kid to
Yes.
go? Or is this like whoever?
I think they're asked to donate. It's a suggested donation
Well,
amount that
all
the
right.
parents
So
are
again,
asked.
so that
But they
bring-
don't
like-
have the association, the band association like the high school does.
The per pupil
For the
cost, if you look
fundraising,
at it,
I
is
believe,
very
right?
minimal. It's $147, so we're forking up a lot of money for,
That's a lot of kids, though, I think.
It's
to
100,
do the-
100 students, a little over 100 kids.
so I'm gonna make a motion to approve it for 5,000. I think that is too much money personally, and then, so if there's a $2,000 difference, what is that?
How many kids are involved in this?
Well, it's roughly 100 because yeah. Yeah.
How much?
106 kids if you do the math.
I mean, just cutting to the chase, what does our policy say? What's our limit per our policy?
10,000 from July to December and 10,000 January to August.
But we do have a maximum
No, that is our
request.
maximum.
No, per request though. I
No,
thought
we didn't set it up
we
yet because
didn't
we were
set
waiting
one.
to see how the per pupil cost came in. But
Yeah.
to be honest, I mean, we haven't really been following the policy anyways. We've probably already exceeded our max, or
No,
we did it.
It's why we've only approved 2 so far, Mark, both
Oh,
are
okay.
700.
But
Okay.
didn't the principals meet with each department?
So they met with each
My
department for the
understanding.
budget, but this again is a planned trip for the spring. So if it happens for the spring, they'd have to book it now. So they're still going to ask for the money even though they know what the limit or restriction is.
Is there time for them to do any fundraising between now and their trip? Maybe just to offset
I'm sure there's
that?
time to do fundraising because it's not until the spring. So I know in the past you've approved something and then said, but if they raise money, they would give the money back or something, or we changed that in the policy that if
Did we
This
see
is
that
if
money?
it's not utilized, then it would be returned.
Did we see that money come back?
Can I ask, so if we approve $2,000 less, hypothetically speaking, it's only a $20 difference per student. So it's $20 of fundraising, be it car washing, be it selling candy bars, be it selling water bottles. Buy a case of water bottles. You can sell water bottles, you can make that money in no time. So, it's,
You want to see some applicants.
I agree, Beth.
I think more importantly, the subcommittee, like, I'm unsure of this policy and what we're doing and when we say yes, when we say no, how much.
Yeah, it's very arbitrary.
But you didn't put that in the policy, right? I know Ann, she has it. The policy states that you would definitely look this year, as Mark said, to see how many
thought we
requests
took
come in.
the
You're saying
data
as
from
far as
last
a
year.
We haven't
max
gotten all of
for a
it.
You
request?
said that you would,
There's
not a max per request, but if I remember correctly, you said that you were going to limit it to about 10,000 per semester because you didn't want to exceed the overall money coming in. But
Yeah,
you had the
that's in the
flexibility
policy.
to go over that if you chose it to be necessary.
Yeah, so we're shutting anybody else out by offering the 7,000.
Exactly, that's my problem. That's exactly, we're eliminating, there goes a majority of that money
So we're
for
willing
the
to
second
give them
half of the year.
5,000.
That's,
Well, I think we match what we're giving the high school, and then they have
I agree.
they have another 8 months to raise the 4,800 that they're missing. I mean,
I agree, the high school makes sense.
Because if you think about what comes in the spring, DECA and robotics and like all these people doing, and most of the cool stuff that goes on in the school happens in the second half. We got to say no to everybody.
Was there a motion, Kyle?
Yeah, I'll pull it.
I'll pull my second. Okay, I'll pull my second. And Cindy removed her motion.
did.
Mark, do you want to make a motion? I agree.
yeah, I'll make a motion to approve. An amended funds request of $3,000 for the Great East Music Festival field trip PMS students to offset the cost of the buses.
Second. Any discussion?
I just have one thing, because I do agree with the motion, number one. Number two, is it also possible, because of the fact that when I was in middle school, that this event was going on, every single year? That was when I was in middle school, that this event. Is it possible for them to actually add it either to their budget or going forward, like, not the entire amount, but maybe 2,000, in order to offset some of this cost? Because even if there's a possibility that they might not make it, at least that money is still within that budget, or it can be used for, it's earmarked to go towards going forward for other years if they say miss it or they don't qualify for that event, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that's one thing that we can maybe start looking at.
So I think it's personal responsibility too. I agree, there's a lot of opportunities to make money.
Correct.
To do fundraising. If you just charge $200 per person, per student, that's bringing you beyond that amount. So if it's just $50 more, that brings them to $5,800. So that's more than they need. So I think it's a reasonable request that Mark made. We're helping them out. I think it gives them time, like Cindy said, for them to do fundraising and make money.
It would just be
And if there's an
our
issue-
policy was a little more clear. It just said, our policy is to give $20 per person. That way you can't, you know what I mean? It's just a per pupil cost.
Yeah. So again, because I feel like we've talked about this like the past 7 meetings, but we needed some data to see like what the average per pupil cost is coming in
Yeah,
at. So now if
it's
the
about
subcommittee's
100.
ready, like we
It's a
can,
lot.
yeah. So like now if we want to meet as a subcommittee and make that max we can, because we've had at least 3 or 4 requests.
And it
So-
always seems to be over $100 per pupil.
There's not much you can do for under 100
No,
anymore.
nothing.
Brendan?
Can't even go to the movies.
Yeah, just to be clear, the request that they're making, I believe, is about $75 per pupil, a little bit less. And I agree with the motion as it's being made. Just to be clear, I think it's consistent with what we've discussed and how we're looking to preserve this. Having said that, I do think that the middle school programs have a much more limited capacity to fundraise, and we just need to be sensitive to that. I'm guessing that the high school music department would be wildly supportive of this middle school trip, because this is really the carrot that keeps a lot of those kids involved with that middle school program. So without stuff like this, there's going to be a lot less success and a lot less retention through the high school. I support what we're doing to amend it, but I do think we need to reach out to these 2 teachers immediately, let them know that what we've done, and give them the opportunity to react, respond, amp up their fundraising game, or come back here and kind of explain to us why we might need to come back with a higher grant. That's what my take would be.
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add? Okay, so there's a motion. There's a second, right, Kyle?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Capital projects update. I assume that's you, Brendan, right?
We do not have updates for this meeting, but I do think we need to set up our follow-up capital projects meeting for the next week, maybe 2 weeks, depending upon everyone's availability, ahead of our October meeting, because I think we owe everyone a large update at that point.
And I thought we were going to get, how about the bond? Were we going to talk, because you haven't met, right? So you haven't talked about the bond?
We met in September, but we have not met since then. so.
Okay. Wasn't that supposed to be on, but Pat's not here right now. I thought she wanted the bond update on the agenda, no?
It was capital projects
Update, and then with the bond, okay,
And
perfect.
whatever fell under that was.
Perfect.
That will be on every agenda
Okay.
from now on.
So you're going to meet before the
Yes.
October 29th?
Yes.
Okay.
We can
So-
circulate time so that we can make sure everyone's available.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Anything else under that? Facilities update, is that going to be you, or is that you, Renee?
No, that's, so in your packet, you have the approval for a septic at the middle school. Steve there are 2 quotes down at the bottom, A and B. One of them is for a remote, like remote information, a remote contact. That would be our recommendation. He has had to replace the control system twice, and they're no longer available. So if the control system goes again, we're not in a great situation. He's been working through this for the past 2 years. It was one of those where the upkeep wasn't kept up. So we're at a point now where it needs to be replaced. We can do it now, or we can wait until it goes, and then we'll be in a different situation. He continuously has to have it emptied. I wouldn't say continuously, but he's had to have it empty several times, and this control panel is what keeps going.
I do have one question. Did he say if we wanted option A or option B?
He said the one with the programmable one, and I believe that's option B.
Okay.
Was this bid, or was this just like one of those?
No, it's one of those, this is the company
From
who's
the
been-
master
yeah,
list,
and
isn't
they've
it?
been
Gotcha.
working with it and through it, and they're part of the system that's already there.
Okay.
So I make a motion to approve the PMS septic labor and materials for control services to natural systems utilities utilizing option B for the amount of $57,533.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Health and Wellness Subcommittee. I asked this to be put on the agenda because so many health issues in my family. I cannot get out of work early to chair the Health and Wellness Committee anymore. Didn't know if there's anyone that was willing to step up and get on it.
I know what you're going through. I'll step up for now, as long as Eileen stays on it.
Look at her face.
Stay on it.
She looks so excited. Thank you so
For
much.
now.
I appreciate it.
When does the health?
That's the problem. It has to meet after school because the teachers come. That was my problem. They meet at like 3 o'clock.
Well, they can't meet at 3 o'clock because I'm teaching. They're gonna have to come at a different time.
So there you go. I thought it'd be creative. Perfect.
Stay late?
Thank you.
Or stay late or
No,
come
no, the
back.
teachers have to stay late.
Well, they could always come back. Go home and come back.
Oh,
So I make a motion. Thank you.
Could I just, I don't know if you have the statute in the packet. There's only a requirement of one member of the committee to be on.
Oh, so Eileen, you don't need Cindy.
Or Cindy doesn't need Eileen.
but I thought Amy was on it.
Oh yeah, no. So Cindy's fine. So I don't need to step down. We don't need to appoint anybody else. Eileen's already on it.
I'll step up.
Amy stepped down. Yeah,
Oh,
she was
okay.
on it. She stepped off.
If we don't, it doesn't matter. We'll both do it, and that way, if one can make
you
it,
tag team it.
we'll coexist. And that way, just one of us will have to be there for the one
Kyle
meeting that
come?
we have to have per year. You take the first half of it. Take the second.
Oh, it only meets once a year?
No, it has to be 4 times a year, right? I think 3.
No.
The statute does not specify any minimum number of meetings.
Oh, I thought it was required to meet 3 or 4 times a year. That's what I was told.
And
before.
as the new
Not in the
chair,
statute.
I'm saying,
We're following that statute.
and as the new
But,
chair, we're meeting.
and I'll just remind the committee, this is just yet another unfunded mandate by RIDE. There's no penalty associated with whether you meet these meetings or not. This is a guideline. You should follow it. Obviously, you don't want to ignore it. It's very explicit about who needs to be on this committee, the membership of this committee. I don't know if you're following that or not.
Yeah, with nurse, yes, it was. Yeah, they were all on it.
The parent, teacher, administrator, students,
Who's a parent?
community-based
I was a
health
parent.
professionals, business
after
community
June.
representatives, state and local nonprofit health organizations. You have representatives
Yes,
from all those?
Karen.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. Karen Weatherworld.
And it's just chaired by the member of the school committee. But there's no minimum or maximum number of meetings.
Oh, so I don't need to step down then. We're good. Not me.
So you want to stay chair?
That's fine. We're me. Yeah, because I'll meet in January. That's fine. Because that way, if I don't have to meet 4 times a year, because that's the whole problem. I thought I had to meet in October and December.
You can meet once a year, and you can meet at any hour that
So
works
I'll
for
meet
you.
in January. Beautiful.
At
Okay.
7 o'clock at night, right before our meeting.
Yeah, no, so can we just tell me what I'm...
We're not changing anything. We're good.
So should we just say for that whole thing, where
Greg, our attorney
Just table the motion.
table the whole thing?
Can we just
Thank
remove
you.
it from the
Thank you,
table?
Greg, for clarifying that. I'm so grateful right now. Stress
You.
is- Thank you, Cindy,
Poor
for
Eileen should
being
have
willing
stepped
to
down
bite
when she
that
had the
bullet.
chance.
Thank you. All right, update on live stream school committee meetings. The update is Dave is awesome.
He makes us look better than
He's a rock star. He gets it done. Here we are, live streaming, so thank you. Does anybody else have anything? Is there any updates, honestly? Are there any updates, Dave, that you need to update us on?
Dave. Can they comment and
That's the
and
update.
clap while we're like, you know, can they?
So I'm
Interact.
20 seconds behind everybody in here. So
In case I swear or drop an F-bomb or something.
yeah,
Beautiful.
exactly.
Thank you.
So what you just said, I didn't hear, and I'm hearing it now.
Thank you, Dave. All right. Does anybody have any questions for amazing Dave?
Do we talk about Renee? Have you considered?
Yeah, you're gonna have to figure out. I know what you're saying. Stipends.
Yeah, we talked
Yeah,
about
yeah.
because he's gonna be here. I mean, look at his professional
Once-
setup.
One of the
absolutely.
things that Dave and I briefly spoke about was this is a dry run to see what it
Entails.
takes. I mean, obviously he had to everything is turned differently. He had to get the Promethean board there so he doesn't have to move things around in case we need to present. This is equipment that we're using that is purchased for one of our classes, our media class, the class that Roger runs. So it's student equipment that we're using. So the time needs to be looked at, and then what this, I mean, we're going to move to
breakdown.
Set up and breakdown, but then also that's equipment that is used for, student.
And
Class.
he wasn't required to be here before. Now he will be. So that's a time.
So I thought it would be, instead of a stipend, I thought we might want to do like an hourly, because there might be some meetings that you would stay later, or if there's a presentation, he might have to shift things around. If you notice, he's sometimes getting up and moving the camera, so we'll require him to be here for the time of the meeting. And so that's a conversation with you, but I do think compensation,
Talk to
if
him
Dave does it.
first.
And then
what
that could
works
be at our
for
next
him.
packet, please, if you don't mind, our next, because we need to compensate him properly. And thank you, Dave, for your time. So, because we need to have a motion on that, so we can't do anything about it tonight, because we need to be in a packet. So yes, thank you. Aaron?
I completely agree with the stipend. You have no idea. But I was also wondering about, could this also be, if we offered maybe to one of the students, have this be their passion project or whatever, see if anyone's available or whatever, and maybe have the student or whatever?
It would still have to be under his guidance.
Correct, but at least with this, it might also be adding to be able to be utilized, of where, he can oversee everything going on as guidance, still receive that stipend, but yet also we can get, because again, this might be great on a college resume or whatever, for, especially if they want to go into mass communications, et cetera, to other schools, their passion project, et cetera. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I think there's always room to grow that and have someone be a mentor for students as well. And Dave does work very well with Mr. Forand, who oversees that program as well. So I do think there's opportunity to grow this, but this was first a trial run to see what it sounds like, what it looks like, and the time commitment. So I think as we reflect on it and tie more together, then I think we have opportunities there. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
So just a little bit of an update. So what we're doing is this is streaming live on YouTube under the Regional School Committee's own YouTube channel. We have comments turned off. We have the ability to like, dislike turned off as well, just to prevent toxicity in a chat room, because anybody can type in those. So we wanted to do that to prevent that from happening. I'm watching the live stream while we're watching this. That's why I said I'm behind a little bit. The sound on it, the sound quality, that your voices and everything are way better sounding here than what you hear in the room. So it's really nice, especially when you turn your mics on.
That's good to hear, because I can barely hear everybody tonight with this on. We didn't turn that off.
And that is not picking up.
Oh, good.
in the
Okay.
stream.
Perfect. I know, I'm like, I don't think I'm losing my hearing, but I'm like, I feel like, muffled,
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, you can watch it later.
You're like, oh, I should have told them not to say that, not to say this.
Does anyone have any questions for Dave? Anything they'd like to add?
But the audience is
Just to thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Have you guys
thank
been
you.
able to find the recordings and stuff online if you were looking for them, okay?
I'm not looking for them, but thank you.
Excellent.
If I have any questions, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Thank
you, everyone.
All right, live recordings.
Um,
Public comment.
Yeah.
Public comment. Mr. Steer, you're only public. Do you have any comment? Not tonight. Okay, not tonight. I'm disappointed. Well, thank you. Communication to and from school committee members? Has anybody received any communication? Nope. School committee members' requests for future agenda items. What's that? We're gonna do executive session, but I'm doing this stuff first, so then everybody can leave. Is that okay? School committee member requests for future agenda items. I would like to request the health and wellness policy to be amended.
To what?
Because I'll show you, you'll see.
Okay.
So health and wellness policy, please, for
I'll show
review.
you. So review for this committee or go to policy subcommittee first?
Nope, I think we should just bring it right here. Is that okay? Because I said we meet 4 times a year. Brendan.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan.
Should we also consider the cell tower policy?
Yes.
Can we, if the policy meeting subcommittee meets first,
Yeah.
or do you want to talk about it like up with everybody?
No.
No?
If you
Okay.
can handle it and you can get it done, that'd be great.
And if you can't, then we'll put it off till the December, but whatever.
think it'll just make it easier if we can figure anything out.
Everyone trusts me, right?
And then we have the
Everyone trusts you.
superintendent's evaluation tool that I'm tasked and I'll building and I'll send it out.
Simple, direct.
Yes, it'll be simple.
All right, anything else? All right. I'd like to make an motion, please, to convene to executive session to discuss and/or vote on the following matters. 42-46-5, collective bargaining.
Second,
All those in favor?
I.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you for coming, everyone. All right.